Bitcoin price is sat on support just above $91,000, and if the price goes down any further than this, then we're going to be having a terrible time. But I don't think it's going to happen that way, because I think a bounce is coming. Today is a day today where we get the FOMC minutes. These meeting minutes will contain more data and information than what is normally put out in an FOMC meeting, generally meaning that the market corrects to a level once these minutes are released. The market chases where the true value of the market should be. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice, investment advice, or any form of recommendation. I guess the question is, what is the true value of the market? Ash Crypto reporting here that BlackRock has sold another $513 million worth of Bitcoin in the past 24 hours. And the value of Bitcoin at the moment is so difficult to work out because of even technological innovation disrupting the current price action of Bitcoin. This news story here reported by CoinBureau that Vitalik says that quantum computers could break Ethereum and Bitcoin by 2028. Now, if you understand how Bitcoin, Ethereum, and general proof of work mechanisms are secured, it's through this thing called security by complexity. And in Bitcoin's case, it's called an SHA-256 hashing algorithm. And as time goes on and computers continue to get more and more powerful, eventually you will have a computer, in theory, more powerful than the Bitcoin network, allowing you to solve transactions that have already been solved, allowing you to create more Bitcoin, and thus destroy the system. Being realistic, this is probably a little bit further away than 2028, and by the time 2028 hits, mining difficulty will have risen, so it doesn't become a problem. However, if you wouldn't mind, drop a like on the video. Today's video is going to be a good one. Not like every video isn't a good one. Every video from me is the best video that you could ever possibly watch. But I honestly appreciate each and every one of you that does press that like button, because there's no financial reward for making these videos. I just enjoy doing it. And when you press that like button, you help the channel. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We've been making these videos since 2016, and it's taken us all that time to get to 150,000 subscribers. So let's kind of speed things up a little. That'd be nice. But anyway, back to it. Bitcoin, $91,200 now. We will go on and analyze the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, if I pull up the right chart. This one here, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and of course we'll be looking at Solana, as well as Solana versus its current Bitcoin value, of which it's been rallying quite well against Bitcoin specifically. So we'll get on to all that in just a moment. But before then, we've got so much crypto news to discuss today, and we'll start by listening to this congressman explain how the USA is somehow going to buy 1 million Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Act establishes the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, a federal initiative to ensure that the United States holds a meaningful position in the most important decentralized financial network on Earth. With an eye to fiscal responsibility and innovation, the legislation outlines a plan to phase in the acquisition of up to 1 million Bitcoin, or roughly 5% of its total final supply over 5 years.
Now, on the surface, to me, the Bitcoin Act sounds silly, but actually when you listen to it, it's crazy. Think of the recent price appreciation in gold. Gold recently is basically just a straight line to the moon. And what the US government is going to do is take all of those gold profits over the next 5 years. They're going to buy my bags, and they're going to buy your bags, and they're going to buy his bags, and they're going to buy his bags, and they're going to buy all of our bags. And we're going to charge them a lot more money than what they think they're going to pay for them, because they'll quickly find it's very difficult to actually buy 1 million Bitcoin. And with the recent price appreciation of gold, the US government's got more than enough money to buy 5% of the overall Bitcoin supply. So this is like as good of a piece of news as what you can possibly get for crypto in general. And it probably means any kind of bear market talk. It's just nonsense. It just can't be true. And maybe I'm just an idiot. I just can't get into my head how it can be possibly real that we would be going into a bear market despite not having a blow off top and not singly filling out a single bull market top cycle indicator. Not a single one has triggered. And there are so many of them. There's like 22 of them, and not a single one has triggered. The idea that we're going to a bear market is crazy. This is just another drop off in another part of this extendedly very long bull market. Someone else, again, we talked about Tom Lee. Was he sweating yesterday or not? He wasn't sweating. Tom Lee went and bought 21,000 Ethereum yesterday after he was on CNBC for that interview, spending $63.6 million, averaging down his position size. And something that makes me very bullish on the markets right now is looking at James Wynn's profile on Twitter, because the man is a delusional bear. He says the faster Bitcoin gets to $46,000, the better. You don't want a slow bleed down. Sharp, fast, max pain, strong bounce, butt market, and thank me later. The idea that this happens, to me, if this happens, that's it. We kind of done. Like, the amount of bankruptcy that the chart like this would cause, it would just be kind of game over for most of the industry for a very long time. There isn't the amount of money in the industry couldn't afford this. This would be terrible. So the fact that you can't afford it probably means it probably won't happen. I mean, it does happen, then like it's over anyway. Like, if we're going to 40k, we'll go down to 16k, and if we go to 16k, well, why stop there? Why not go to 0? So being really, I just can't understand this kind of rationale right now, other than bearish hysteria does really well in terms of views, and this post got 1,500 likes, 123,000 views. That's what it's for. It's all engagement bait. It's nonsense. I mean, just listen to this interview from Michael Saylor.
You know, Bitcoin's been around for 15 years. It's had 15 major drawdowns. It's always come back to a new all-time high. If you zoom out, this is just par for the course. This is normal in the life cycle of an emergent transformational asset class, and it's a healthy thing. It clears out the tourists, the leverage, and the weak holders, and sets the basis for the next rally upward.
I love how he fired in upward at the end there. But it's true. Every dip, every drawdown Bitcoin's ever had, it's recovered from. And every recent pullback that we've had has led to new all-time highs. If you're bullish, slap a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. We've got a few more of these to run through, with Crypto Rover reporting that CZ is out here telling us that the world's biggest countries are in a race to adopt crypto.
Now the largest economy in the world is adopting crypto, and they're buying crypto. They're setting up crypto reserves. That means any other country who's not doing that now is going to be at a significant disadvantage when they want to do that later, because the richest country is going to buy Bitcoin first. They're going to buy a whole lot of them, and the Bitcoin price is going to go up. The next country that comes in to buy them is going to be buying them at a higher price, so they can only buy less.
And if CZ's bullish on the market, so I figure that I should be. I think it's probably the correct decision. It's just so difficult to ignore all the good news, and today seems to be a crazy good news day because we have nothing but good news. There's not really any bad news today. Everything kind of looks a hell of a lot better than what it did the other day. Markets are starting to recover. Listen to this from Brian Armstrong, the founder and CEO of Coinbase, because this crypto market structure bill that's going to pass, this is going to change the industry. And bear in mind, I'm saying that from January, we do pretty much nothing but rally all the way through the first 6 months of next year. That is my genuine expectation. So we'll see what Brian has got to say.
Hey everyone, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO here. I'm in the halls of Congress, back again, pushing for market structure legislation. We've seen a lot of progress since I was last here. We've now seen draft text shared by the Senate Ad Committee. Senate Banking is also working nights and weekends to get the next iteration of their text out. So we've got a good chance, I think, of a markup for this bill in December, hopefully get it to the president's desk shortly thereafter.
And the crazy thing about this is it will happen, and it'll be pro-crypto. And we've got so long left of this pro-crypto government. We can't be in a bear market. It's not possible. This clip here, this one's actually quite funny, you see. You know Kalshi, it's like Polymarket. It's another one of these prediction, like, am I going to wear blue pants today platforms. The man that owns Saudi Arabia, first of all, he's a Muslim. That means no gambling. Second of all, he makes a shout out. This is wild. This is huge. And it shows that crypto is breaking barriers because Kalshi's main adoption comes from crypto.
President, thank you. And also, before I come here, someone told me that there is in some of the bidding sites that they are bidding on me wearing black suits. And if you bid on me wearing black suits, I'm coming here with the black suits, they're going to get almost 17x. So I want to tell them, sorry, you lose the bid. Maybe next time. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
I just think that's wild that the guy that owns Saudi Arabia is out there looking at Kalshi for bets. But anyway, back to business. Is Powell going to drop the interest rates?
We have an answer, do you think, from the Fed about another cut? Do you think that's where they're going?
I hope it's where they're going, because when you're in uncertain times, and after what this Schumer shutdown did to the economy, I would think that if you're not taking out an insurance cut here, or if you're flying blind, they say, well, we don't have data. Well, if you don't have data, then that's what insurance is for. So, I would encourage them. They've gone into a cycle, so let's go 1, 2, 3, and we can see from there.
Now, unfortunately, on this one, we don't actually get a clue as to whether or not there is going to be a rate cut at the next meeting. But I kind of expect that there will be one, because I suspect that Jerome Powell will probably see the need for one. He isn't blind, he isn't stupid, and he always does what's best in the eyes of the economy, not necessarily in the eyes of the government. But right now, in the eyes of the economy, I think that a bit of ease would be good. Something else that happened today was a man randomly went out and bought $1 billion worth of crypto. The person that was insider trading the markets these past few weeks that seemed to know an awful lot about when things were going to happen has now cashed all those profits and bought the dip on Bitcoin. Someone else who bought the dip and started firing in a bunch of money is Dave Portnoy, who is very famous for making very bad crypto trades. So hopefully this one actually works out. Dave bought $750,000 of Bitcoin, $400,000 of ETH, and $1 million of XRP.
Now, am I eligible for this? Because here comes the announcement last night, Monday, November 17th. If you want to look at what I did, here it is. I hope I'm not giving away nothing. I probably am, so I probably shouldn't show. 638 bought $500,000 of XRP. 637 bought 400,000 of ETH. 637 bought 750,000 of BTC. 636 bought 500 more or a reverse of XRP. So in total, last night, $1 million of XRP, 400 ETH, 750 of BTC.
Now, I don't know how this makes me feel, but I am quite happy to see other guys out there seeing value where I see value, because I'm the same as Dave. I've been firing in, but only on spot. But now we go back to the markets and we look at the support and resistance levels, as well as trying to identify potential levels of which Bitcoin can enter into liquidity. Bitcoin ultimately is going to be the market driver here, and something that you need to be monitoring at home is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana open interest. When you see an open interest change, you see this number go higher, you see this number go green, you know before and ahead of time money is entering the market, liquidity is entering the market. Now, they might not necessarily be using that liquidity to buy, they might just be putting it in the order book waiting to buy. But when there is more liquidity in a market, generally, as a rule of thumb, the price will rise. And one of the things that I've been using to just clean up, we've been absolutely cleaning up at the moment, but one of the things that I have been using is this. Something else I use in my regular day-to-day trading is this. This is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and on this map here we can see that up at the level of about $97,600 there's a huge range of liquidation. On Ethereum there's a huge range of liquidation at $3,280. We're probably going to get back up there sometime soon. Fear and greed index is still sat in extreme fear, but it's starting to, head back towards the green stage. Bitcoin is hopefully, fingers crossed, finding some support down here. That would be really nice. I don't necessarily think we've found it just yet. Now, for Bitcoin, we can see we've got a support level here at and around 91,000. We can see we've got a resistance level up here, 120,000. That's a $30,000 range. Is that clearly far too big? With the next bottom of that range coming in at about $73,000. What we need to be looking at here is the VRVP, because that shows us where the money sits in the order book. We can see there's a bunch down at 83,900. Ultimately, that would be what I believe to be the ultimate low of this range. Now we're sat at 92. We've also got a level up here at 96, which is the one that I expect is most likely to trigger. A, because we're starting to see a slight uptick in open interest, but B, because we've been stuck in extreme fear for a while. It's just, do we need another pressure down? I'm like 50-50 on it. I don't really think we do, but we might do. My fear is that every time we have these rallies upwards, we quickly lose those gains. This is Ethereum on the 5-minute chart, and it is trending downwards, and I do think we've got to pay a little bit of attention to that. You don't be slapping in some mega long positions yet. For me, I am just buying spot Solana, and that's literally it right now. I do think that at some point this is going to turn around, and the same would also go for Solana. Like, we're very low in the range. The fear is that this is the Bitcoin value, but if we look at Solana versus the USD value, it looks rough. It looks very, very rough. But when this turns around, it's going to be very aggressive, and it'll come back up to about 170. It's a case of, you don't want to try and time this. Instead, it's probably going to happen at some point. You just want to keep buying the dip here from my perspective. Now, I've seen everything in today's crypto news. I'm very, very, very bullish on this week. I'll be posting all of my trades in Crypto Saving Experts Discord group, which you can join that using the link in today's video description. You go over, click on monthly, use the discount code for 35% off in the video description, and sign up on this plan here. There's a link for it down below. We're doing a $10,000 to $1 million trading challenge at the moment. We placed the first trade for that this morning. You can see we were in and out in a short period of time, cleared $2,100 of profit, meaning that everybody that is in my group doesn't have to pay a subscription fee, because it's free to join, because we make money. We didn't just make money on the one trade. I go over into my other group here. I run this as an account separate from the challenge account as well, where we made about $7,500 this morning, meaning our total takings for the day about $10,000. It's all real money. I placed all my real trades in here. We trade all the time, every day, pretty much all day, unless the the market's not looking too friendly. So if you want to join that, link in the video description. If you're interested in trading, check out WEEX. You'll find a link for them as well. Fantastic exchange platform. I use it for trading. You can do too. But on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope it was useful for you, and I hope, please, press that like button and subscribe. See you in a bit. Thank you very much for watching. Ciao.